Dr. West, first of all, thank you so much for giving us your time today. This is really, really, truly an honor, both personally and for the Open Center.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. So this has been a very historical week, obviously for many reasons. So we'd first like to ask you, what has been your message with President Obama, not only now but also throughout his campaign?
I think from the very beginning, when I first met my dear brother, now president, that it looked as if we had a real chance of bringing the age of Ronald Reagan to an end, bringing an end to the era of conservatism. And that, for me, was the first crucial point, because we've been living in this ice age for so long, and it's become fashionable to be indifferent to the suffering of people, especially poor people. And if we could bring it to an end, we might be able to generate some new progressive and democratic possibilities. And so Brother Barack emerges in the midst of a relatively mediocre, almost spineless Democratic Party that has no real leadership other than the Clinton machine. And the question is whether he can actually beat the Clinton machine. I was convinced that he could, and in fact he did. And so from Iowa through Ohio, my message was, we've got to bring the end of the age of Reagan, and the age of Obama must be the age of empowering everyday people, unleashing unprecedented democratic possibilities in the face of a host of catastrophes, from Katrina to Wall Street to Iraq to Afghanistan and so forth. And that's what I was celebrating, and many others were celebrating this week.
Yeah.
You see old Brother Bush put in a helicopter.
That was quite a moment.
Wave. It's gone.
Yeah.
It is over.
Yes.
See Cheney in a wheelchair. Hey.
It's a new
brought
time.
Down. It's a new day.
Yes.
It's a new day.
So one of the things that it looks like Obama has been really talking about is sort of a new sense of discipline, both morally, ethically, and personally more than anything else. So I, as a citizen, want to know exactly how it's possible for him to transmit those values, onto the people of America, such that that progressive movement can really take footing. Do you feel that that's possible?
I think it's possible. I think we need a democratic awakening, and awakening begins first and foremost with an acknowledgement of the sleepwalking and the need to be more aware and alert of what is going on, understanding what's going on, and then being able to intervene. And so for me, when I hear him talk about responsibility and discipline, I think that's good, but more than anything else, we need courage. You can have discipline, you can have responsibility and still be a gangster. Yeah. Courage has to be tied to how do we accent a public good that puts a premium on poor people and working people. And I think that he has a tilt in that direction, even though at times I do wonder whether my dear brother Obama was a bit reluctant to step into the age of Obama. That is so overwhelming. That's why you got all these recycled Clintonites in his administration. You see, he's still depending on the establishment in a disproportionate manner when a more serious break is necessary. Mm-hmm. You can talk about responsibility, for example, but there's no serious talk about any accountability of those who violated the law, torture, wiretapping, politicizing various departments, beginning with the Justice Department. That's against the law.
Right.
You see, you got to take responsibility for that. You see, you catch a poor white brother in Appalachia with marijuana, or a poor brown sister in the barrio with crack, their responsibility means they go to jail. They violated the law. Well, these folk violated the law too. They walk around sipping tea. So you have to be consistent in talking about rule of law and responsibility in this regard. But I do think that he has he's initiated something that is so rich and so wonderful and so potentially progressive.
I agree. And some of those most telling images for me on Inauguration Day were those school children in the Atlanta schoolhouse they kept going back to. And I kept thinking, well, this is such a beautiful time for them because this very real sense of possibility is crystallizing in themselves. But at the same time, they have to go to school every day and hear this message that they're failing tests, that they're so far behind their counterparts. Well, these are the people that we're counting on for the next social change, really. So is it, in your opinion, the job of teachers in the schools to teach this type of social change like Lisa Delpit's been writing about for years?
I mean, what all young people need of any color is self-confidence, self-respect, and a sense of possibility. I don't spend a lot of time with the achievement gaps because in teaching at Princeton, I see some of the high achievers and they still have problems.
Yeah.
And the problems had to do with what is the depth of their courage, what is the depth of their compassion, and what is the depth of their service to others. So that it's nice to talk about achievement in a certain sense, but more importantly, it has to do with letting that achievement talk to what kind of person they are, what kind of character they have, what kind of virtues they're promoting, and so on. So, I mean, Louis Armstrong would have been an achievement, you know, behind the achievement gap. I don't give a goddamn. You see, I want Louis Armstrong. Why? Because he had a courage, he had a willingness to take a risk and so forth. That's what we need among our young people. We've got too many high achievers who are spiritually empty and morally underdeveloped. That doesn't help, just being smart. You see what I mean? So that a lot of this talk about achievement gap, it has its place. I don't want to downplay it, but it's not an end-all or be-all. In a democracy, it's really not the achievers. It was the achievers, the best and the brightest, that got us in the problem in Vietnam. Yeah. It's the achievers coming out of Harvard, Yale, and Princeton to get us a problem in terms of wealth and equality, and a lot of them promoters of male supremacy and white supremacy. So that achievement, yes, but that's just a slice. How do you get these young people to have a confidence, a respect, a willingness to be decent persons, a willingness to be compassionate persons, and a willingness to serve something bigger than themselves? That's what Brother Barack has got to push. This is what I mean when I say he's got to be a thermostat rather than a thermometer. Yeah, he's got to shade the climate. He's got to teach the not just young people, but fellow citizens, this is what we need at this moment. You can't just synthesize what's out there and try to bring together all the different viewpoints. No, 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 no. That's being a politician. We didn't elect a garden variety politician in this crisis.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. So would you advocate then, I guess, for a sort of redrawing of what it takes to be success, the boundaries of success, the new definition for success in this age, and with the new values that he's bringing in?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't even really believe in success as a major end. You see, I think we need a habitual vision of greatness. And I come out of a biblical tradition that says, he or she is greatest among you will be your servant. You see, Martin King was great, not successful. Malcolm X died with $150 in his pocket. That's everything he owned, but he was still great. How do we teach our young people? We want you to be great by the quality of your investment in the interests and needs of others, especially those who are less advantaged than you, so that you're able to live a certain life and hold your head up based on a moral magnanimity, not just a material prosperity. So we've got a truncated conception of success. And in fact, what success really means in America, again, during the age of Ronald Reagan, is becoming well-adjusted to injustice. So I don't want to be well-adjusted to injustice. You see what I mean? I'm maladjusted to injustice. That for me is the definition of great. That's why you got Gandhi, King, John Haynes, Holmes. You know, he's the founder of this great church. He's somebody who is maladjusted. I like those kind of brothers and sisters.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. So then now I guess we're looking forward into the future, and where do you envision these next great agents of social change to come from, and what would your message to them be?
They're going to come from every nook and cranny of every culture and peoples in this nation and around the world. They come from nameless, faceless people who make the kind of choices to become great in a variety of different ways. It could be Louis Armstrong, it could be a white blues man, or Bruce Springsteen, it could be Joan Baez. I mean, they just come from like Curtis Mayfield. We just don't know. Mm-hmm. That's what's wonderful about it. You see the extraordinariness of ordinary people.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what's wonderful about it. And right now, what I love about Barack and Sister Michelle is that symbolically, and symbols do matter, that they are affecting right now people, especially young people of all colors. Not just giving them a sense of possibility, but giving them a model of how they acquire a certain kind of sensibility and energy to aspire to greatness, and they are going to surface. I'll be long gone, but it's going to be a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, I hope it happens a lot sooner than that, Dr. West. Also, one last thing, I'd read recently, reread Race Matters, which I'm
very kind of it. But
well,
life is short. You don't want to read too many texts.
I agree, but I think right now it's particularly meaningful again. You know, especially after everything that has happened, especially this last year. but you did speak about the black middle class and how they had become a little bit stagnant and had become sort of attached to professional conscientiousness.
That's right.
Do you feel like these events now will sort of spark that black middle class?
Absolutely. I mean, the black middle class came alive in the Obama campaign. It was black professionals who started the whole project in Chicago in terms of financial support.
Yeah.
No, I think the black bourgeoisie has been awakened in a wonderful way to get beyond just their sense of profession and have a sense of vocation, beyond their careers and have a sense of calling.
Yeah.
And that to me is very, very important. Indeed, indeed, indeed.
I hope you're right, and again, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. West. This has been an honor and a pleasure.
You keep being a force for good, my brother.
I'm trying every day.
Indeed. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
You stay strong. Stay strong. It was a wonderful set of questions. How you all doing there? Good to see you. Good to see you.